to find out why we live this way. Why we are mechanical in our relationship, in our ways of thinking, why we tolerate any form of violence, both in ourselves and externally, why though man has lived for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, he lives in sorrow, without any love, frightened, miserable, utterly unintelligent. So, we're going to begin to inquire together, using words unemotionally without any reaction, find out why we have become so intellectually, ethically mechanical. Right? We are just stating facts, not conclusions. It's not a conclusion to say we are mechanical. We are. We are caught in a routine, whether in the office or when you come home from your labors. Exactly the same repetitive process goes on. Sexually, ethically, in our daily action. Some of us realize it and try to escape from them by becoming revolutionaries. Physical revolutionaries or ideological revolutionaries. Physical revolution doesn't bring about anything. That's obvious, in spite of the terrorists. Psychologically, inwardly, inside the skin as it were, why have we become mechanical? I mean by that word mechanical, based on action, based on pleasure, action based on fear, action based on authority, action according to a certain pattern of thinking, action along evasion, avoiding, running away, and never facing the fact as we are. These are not conclusions, these are obvious daily facts. And again, please, you are listening to yourself, though the speaker may express it, put it into words, and though the speaker is not here, you are listening to yourself and finding out, challenge yourselves why we live this mechanical existence. We may leave one set of ideologies, Christian or communist, and join other set of ideologies. We may give up being a Catholic and become a Protestant or a Hindu, or if you are rather advanced, you go off into Zen Buddhism, or if you are still more advanced, you go off into Krishnamurti stuff. So, it's all, you understand how never demanding for ourselves what is the right thing to do. Always depending on somebody. Gurus, this person or that person. So what is the right action in a world that's crumbling, that's becoming daily more frightening? Where there are so many divisions of beliefs, dogmas, nationalities, and so on, so on, so on, religious and every form of division. What is the right action for each one of us in our daily life, in our occupations, and so on? What is the right action? What is the correct way of living? If you challenge yourselves, and I hope you are doing it now, what are you to do? So we have to inquire, what is action? Right? What do we mean by that word, action? Whether you are married, whether you are not married, whether you are in office, whether you are fairly well off and independent, and so on, so on, so on. What is correct thing to do in my life? Facing all this. Not according to any pattern. Obviously, that's not correct action. Not based on certain ideologies. That also is not correct action, because those ideologies are projected by thought. Clever, cunning thought. And action based according to certain authority, whether religious, political, or your own particular authority based on your own experience and knowledge. That's neither correct action. Please understand all this. Because if you base your action on your own experience, then your experience is very limited. And you are constantly demanding greater and greater and greater experience, which is greater and greater sensation, not experience. The word experience means to go through, finish with something. And action based on a past conclusion, however right, however worthy, but is still from the past, and therefore still limited in terms of time. Or if your action is based on a future conclusion, or a future ideology, or a future ideal, that again is not correct action, because you have projected the ideal, what you should be, what your country should be, or what your group should be, and act according to what should be. Therefore, you are not acting at all. Action implies doing something now, independent of the past and the future. This is really quite fascinating and tremendously interesting, if I may use these words, which are not correct words, but as matter for the moment, to find out for oneself, is there an action